Welcome back to Emirates 24/7. It's time to take a look at some more top news stories of the day. Joining us with his thoughts is Tristan Mulhall, a broadcast journalist for the Arabian Radio Network. Welcome to the show, first time.
Thank you.
Now, I wanted to begin some great news for the Eurozone. At last, we have seen a bailout deal agreed for Greece. 130 billion euros coming their way. And of course, in exchange, they've agreed to try and reduce their debt, I think, to 121% of their GDP. Slightly different to what had been originally planned, but certainly welcome news and something we've been waiting for some time.
Yeah, this has been in the offing for a while now. But to be honest with you, I think as far as the Greek government is concerned and the European Union is concerned, they really are just kicking the can down the road. In the next 6 months, we're going to have the same problems, the same issues. And when it comes to this particular debt, it is rather considerable. And it's rather unsustainable that Greece can actually meet its debt obligations. So default is inevitable, and this is really not going to solve the problem in the long run.
I will say, I think some people there have been very unhappy about the austerity measures as well, but hopefully we will see some progress there. Now, I wanted to stay on global news. We've seen Yemenis head to the polls today to end the 33-long rule of the current president, Ali Abdullah Saleh. Now, whilst it seems to be positive news, it really seems to be more of a symbolic gesture than an actual democratic one, because there is only one presidential candidate. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think we really will see a difference?
That's the question I think everybody's asking. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. The new president, who's actually the vice president, is going to assume the reins of power, Adraba Mansour Hadi. And the idea is that over a 2-year period, there will be a transition to open, free, fair elections, reform of civil and democratic institutions. But that's really a tall order to ask, considering the fragile state of the political process in Yemen at the minute. You have an insurgency in the south of the country, a rebellion in the north of the country, an Islamic threat that's grown in recent years. I think there's also an interest externally as well. Geopolitically speaking, you have Saudi Arabia and you have the United States. The United States have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in counter-terrorism. They don't want to see that go down the drain. They have an interest in seeing stability in Yemen, unlike in Syria, where they can use leverage against other regimes in the region. They really need to see a stable Yemen for the future. That's in American interests, and it's in the interests of the America's allies in the region as well.
Absolutely. I know as well, if you look at the economic side of things, I think Yemen is the poorest country in the Middle East. Right. 42% of people there are living on less than $2 a day. So I think whilst it is a positive step, we are seeing definitely a change in leadership. I think it really is only the first step to a very long road of recovery. Now, turning back here to the UAE, Coca-Cola and Pepsi have been in a lot of trouble this week. The UAE's Consumer Protection Authority have come out and really been, I think they've called them unacceptable fraud they've been accusing them of. Today and yesterday we saw the cans of soft drink being taken off the shelves. How are you feeling about this?
I think I feel the same way as other consumers feel, a little bit outraged that these Coca-Cola, these cola beverage companies would flout the rules in such a way. You know, when you think about it, they want to increase the price of a product by 50%, yet surreptitiously reduce the contents by 20%. That doesn't seem to make sense, and I think it's really good that the consumer authorities here have had their eye on the ball to look out for our interests.
Now, I think it is going to take about 1 month to be able to remove all of the products off the shelves. Do you think we need to be looking at a quicker turnaround for that if they are still able to sell these products at the higher price?
I think that's a question that needs to be answered, yes. But I think one other fundamental question which needs to be asked is the health of Emiratis. One of the biggest issues that this country faces is obesity. And only today at the ARNU's team, we're covering a major health conference in Abu Dhabi concerning nutrition and concerning exercise and public health. And I think ultimately soft drinks have a role to play. So I'm not saying that we should increase the prices of these beverages, but we should certainly look into regulating them a little bit more.
It's quite an interesting thought. I know sort of all around the world people have been talking about introducing what they call a fat tax. Do you think that is the solution, I guess, putting this extra money for food and beverages that are perhaps not quite so healthy for us?
I don't want to use this metaphor, the proof is in the pudding, but the obesity crisis in the UAE is quite pronounced, and something really needs to be done. Waistbands are only getting wider, and I think action needs to be taken.
Now, final story, some good news for budding entrepreneurs. Do has now launched a new program called The Entrepreneur, and the person who wins is going to be up for a million dirham cash prize if they've got what it takes. So we have seen great success. I think we had the Hydra executive here a few years ago. Many people love The Apprentice, Dragon's Den back in the UK. What are your thoughts? Any amazing ideas you'd like to share with us?
I'm not going to be saying them right here, that's for sure. But what I do know is that this format succeeded everywhere around the world. No doubt it's going to be successful here too, and I'll probably be watching.
Absolutely, million dirhams cash prize. Lucky things. Tristan, thank you for joining us this evening. Appreciate it. Thank you. Well, before we go, let's take a look at tomorrow's news today. The front page stories you'll be waking up to on Wednesday morning. Gulf News reports on the Israeli Supreme Court reviewing Qatar Adnan's appeal as the number of Palestinians held without trial rises sharply. 7 Days reports on the dodgy slimming products seized in Abu Dhabi. The National speaks with the residents of the Sharjah Tower ravaged by fire last month after the ruler of Sharjah gifted them 50,000 dirhams each to rebuild their lives. And the Khaleej Times reports that Yemeni voters have headed for the polls as the nation turns a new page in its troubled history. Well, that's all we have time for on this evening's show, but do join us again on Wednesday night. We have exclusive access to Dubai's Central Prison at Al Awir, where a rehabilitation program is teaching prisoners how to prepare for life outside jail. But for now, from all of the team here at Emirates 24/7,